Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Ignite Power Session 10, Keep Every Lead. So we're going to hammer lead follow-up today. And so let's get started.
Are we gonna start doing these in person?
Probably around the next time around. I've been debating whether I'm just going to do it.
Cool.
I'm here at the office, but I got to talk with people about the owl and all that stuff. All right. So as you've been following along with us, we're on session 10. I'm loving Ignite 2.0 because it really systematized exactly what you guys are going through. And honestly, it kind of really conceptually shows you how much there is to learn, how much there is to do. So I think we're halfway through. So let's take a quick breather and understand a few things. If you're brand new and you're starting out and you're feeling overwhelmed, it's probably very valid. Quit feeling like, take away that overwhelmed feeling. Understand that you're just starting a massive thing in your life. We have 20 Ignite sessions, and that means most every session has been about 2 hours long. There's 40 hours worth of a base level training course and content. All right. There's meat almost on every single topic, every single day. And so give yourself some grace. Understand that you are not going to get this week 1, week 2, or month 1 and month 2, right? I know for a fact that pretty much anybody listening to this or on here, it seems like we have epiphany points around year 1 and year 2. So give yourself some grace. Understand that you have a journey ahead of you. And embrace it, right? I really appreciate the people that really just, keep cool, trust the process, trust the system, and trust that they will not know everything, right? If it's year 1 and year 2 before you really start to jive and flow, then I can still attest that after 8 years, there are still things I learn every single day, as well as the understanding that our real estate world changes every single day. All right. If open houses weren't working for you 3 months ago, well, I can show you today. It's August 2nd, 2022. They're working well and well in effect right now. All right. Now, will they last and be as effective all the way through fall? Maybe, maybe not. Will they be as effective in the winter? Maybe, maybe not. But you see, that's the reality of real estate and education, and really working through Ignite with me is understanding that what you do today will change. What works today might stop tomorrow, but will pick back up in the spring. What works, a couple of years ago is not working today, but may work in a few years from now. And so as you guys go through this journey, understand it is a journey, right? It's an adventure. If you can't see it as an adventure, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to get chewed up and spit out by this game called real estate. Because for the people out there that absolutely need real estate to be cut and dry, it will never be, it never has been. Okay. So give yourself some grace, and I appreciate you guys all, getting this far. All right. So we're going to talk about lead follow-up, and how to keep every single lead. All right, what is lead follow-up, right? What's the truest definition of lead follow-up? I just want to hear some ideas. And I know there's some people on here that are brand spanking new, but I want to know where your base root is, meaning your natural gut instinct. Helena, can I pick on you?
I was hoping I wasn't first, but
I know, I can see that big smile. You've got such a smile. Tell us, what to you is lead follow-up?
Just by like certain instance, you mean, is like sending an email or calling and just seeing how they're doing, what's new in their life, if they like what they're seeing, what they feel about the market, just calling, doing face-to-face interactions if you can.
Awesome explanation. So what I got out of that, Helena, was Lead follow-up is in its simplest form, it's communicating with your lead. All right. And I really also like the way she said, sometimes it's talking about their search, sometimes it's talking about summer, and sometimes it's talking about what they got going on in their life with their kids, work, church. It doesn't matter, right? So the base root of lead follow-up is communication, direct communication with your lead. All right. Lead follow-up is not where you put a buyer lead on an automatic search and expect that buyer lead receiving that email is feeling like it's coming from you. Okay. The fact of the matter is that when you're on Facebook and posting where you're at, out to dinner, at this event, and all of a sudden they get an email, they instantly know it's not from you. You guys don't expect some of these automated systems to be your end all be all for lead follow-up. Okay. Now there is some automated components to this thing and this method that we're going to talk about. But the reality is Helena hit the nail on the head. It's communication with your lead. It is not just about real estate, but it's also not just about their personal life and relating to them. Anybody else have anything to add to that? Pretty simple, but yet I think a lot of us like automatic or automated follow-up, and it's not. It's a follow-up. It's aggressive. All right. The lifetime of a lead, or the life of a lead. This is actually really the life of people, of humans, of our natural and average timeline of events that people do in this world. All right. So it's said that every 7 to 10 years, every 7 to 10 years is when the average person moves. All right. Well, if we know anything about the averages, we understand that depending upon our database could consist of people that run on this average schedule. And then we could also have the people in our database who have been in their home for 35 plus years. And then we also have some people that, have kind of a volatile lifestyle, meaning their job moves them from here, there, and everywhere. Military, emergency service personnel, right? Traveling nurses, traveling EMTs. And so really understanding that the cycle is what we're going to focus on and not necessarily the years, because depending upon who you have and what kind of leads you have and what kind of database you have and those people, their cycles are going to be a little different, a little spread out, a little tighter together. And so let's talk about this and why these hashtags are here and why all of that's there. So this little likelihood to move, I like to take away and think about this as more of like brain waves. Okay. When somebody gets closer to the time that they're going to be moving, their brain waves start firing on all cylinders around real estate. All right. So as we do lead follow-up, we have to understand that our leads have a heightened sense of awareness around real estate. And it's our job to pull leads from leads. So we're definitely I'm going to share with you a couple of scripts today that I use when I do my lead follow-up to help you guys pull leads from leads. Okay. Because here's what's wild to me. A lead that's a year out can potentially refer you about 2 to 3 pieces of business that actually could close and commence or get started even before that lead that you initially grabbed begins or gets started. Okay. And so I'm going to teach you guys some of that. But really what I like to show you guys on this graph is it's the heightened sense of awareness. All right. Liz Grusso, are you on here? I don't know how I pronounce your last name. Yes, she is. Okay, cool.
I am.
I'm gonna hit something that you and I were conversing about yesterday. All right.
Okay.
This is a very common thing in every agent's life, not just Liz's. Okay, happens in my database, and this is why this graph can be so powerful. It looks so basic. It's so stark to me, but let's talk about why. So when you're following up with your database, okay, depending upon how large your database is and who you're calling, a lot of times their reactions will be based upon where they're at in life. Okay, So if people move an average of 7 to 10 years, and you have a database of a very big population of people that have been in their homes for the last several years, or maybe they're not the average 7 to 10 year people, maybe they're just the people that have been in their home for a while and don't have any plans on going anywhere. Well, what happens is when we call those people in our database, their mindset is probably down here. I hope everybody can see my mouse, but okay. Their minds are down here, okay? And since we said these are brain waves, and the higher up their brain waves are, that's the heightened sense of awareness. So it's very common when you talk to your database in your sphere that people will go, they say this stuff all the time. And Liz, you hit the nail on the head. I hear this stuff all the time from my database. Oh, that's really cool. We'll keep you in mind if we ever hear of anybody. Or, nope, we don't know anybody right now. And then the conversation just dies and they don't really even want to talk about real estate because they feel bad they don't have a lead for you. Or, oh, of course, we'll share your information with everybody in our world. And they just don't know of anybody, okay? So one of the scripts that we'll start to talk about is when people are down here in their minds around real estate, talking about real estate is going to come up with those types of results. And so that's why what we try and do is I try and teach you guys the lifestyle script, okay? So the lifestyle script allows people to have other things in their world that they're at a heightened sense of awareness from, okay? And whenever there's something in somebody's world that they're at a heightened sense of awareness from, they get excited. And when they get excited, they start to think more rationally, right? Have you guys ever been stressed out, burnt out, frustrated, under the gun, and tried to think clearly? It's almost impossible or difficult to do, right? And so when somebody's excited and you get their brain firing on all cylinders, they're much more receptive, as well as much more eager to do what you're asking of them, okay? And so the lifestyle script takes away just talking about real estate, because in your database, if people are down here with real estate, you're always going to get no, you're always going to get, we'll share your information, but it sounds just, mediocre and ho-hum. And so the lifestyle script allows us to kind of get out of this place, okay? Because if somebody's all the way up here, they're going to automatically talk about real estate. They want to move. They want to talk to you about it. They have questions. You'll start to pick up on that. So the lifestyle script. When I'm talking to my database, or when I'm talking to leads, or when I'm cold calling or door knocking, it doesn't matter. When I'm lead generating, all right, and I know we're talking about lead follow-up, but this script goes across the board. You want to start getting into relationship with people and ask them if they know of anybody in their life going through a major lifestyle change, all right? And that's because lifestyle changes cause people to then make lifestyle moves. Meaning, if you have a new baby, you might need some more space. If you have a new job, you might have a longer commute to work, or you might have a higher income and can afford the home that you've been looking for. If you're brand new and you're newly married, chances are both parties are going to want to sell what they have currently, or if they're renting, they're going to want to buy something together, right? They're starting a life. It's almost part of the American dream, right? Going through a death and no one's ready to live there, or whoever's left in the home might not love the memories of the home because of the death that has happened. And the next one is divorce, right? If somebody gets a divorce, there's a big likelihood that that one individual that's staying in the home can't afford to stay in the home by themselves, right? Because again, from a marriage standpoint, they bought the home for the American dream, and a lot of people qualify together. And so divorce can really cause a home sale faster than some. And then lastly, this is kind of the one lifestyle change that I don't feel like there's a lot of meat on the bone as far as motivation, but it happens, and it happens day in and day out. It just might be a longer time span that it actually comes to fruition. And that is a move up or move down. So empty nester syndrome, whatever you want to call it in that fashion. People that have kids that vacate the nest, they want to either downsize, or some people have kids that leave the nest and they want a bigger home because they finally get a home that they can take care of, that their kids won't trash. You name it, move up, move down happens. So when we're talking to our database or our leads, and we're talking about getting leads off of leads, lifestyle script is where you need to focus. Okay. Everybody in their world knows people going through one of those 6 things. All right. It's kind of an anomaly if somebody doesn't. Okay. And through those questions and conversations, then we can allow ourselves to potentially get in front of other people who might have questions, right? I'm having a new kid, and I feel like the space we're in right now is okay with us. But yeah, as this kid grows, we're definitely gonna have to reevaluate. I mean, we'd like to have 2 kids, and there's no way we can have 2 kids in here. Well, Mr. and Mrs. whoever, when do you plan on having that second kid? Right? Self-discovering and walking through and helping people with their lifestyle changes or understanding their lifestyle changes will allow you to grow a massive, robust pipeline for the next 4 or 5 months to 6 months to a year and a couple of years out. Okay. But again, it goes back to this graph. For the person that just got a new baby who lives in a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment, they're going to need a 2-bedroom here quickly. So their little wavelength of time is going to be condensed. A lead that just had a new baby, but they have 3 bedrooms, and they're just going to convert their guest bedroom into the nursery and then their office into a office/Murphy bed situation for guests. They may or may not be frustrated with their space for a little bit. And so their wavelength of time frame might be a little farther out. And so what I'm trying to drill into your guys' head is that, one, everybody kind of has this different span, and everybody has reticular activating systems in their brain. It's our job to spike those reticular activating systems up. But what you'll start to realize is that only talking about real estate to a person who's down here with real estate will just appease you. Yes, Jarrett. Yes, I appreciate the call, and we'll keep you in mind if we come across anybody in our world that wants to do some real estate. And all Jarrett can say is okay, that sounds great. That's all. I appreciate that. But if we start talking about lifestyle changes, people start to raise their hand. Oh yeah, my nephew's having a kid, or a coworker just got married. So who at this moment wants to role play with me a little bit?
I'll do it, I guess.
Yes, you will. Awesome. Ring, ring.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Jake, what's going on? It's Bruce. How are you?
Oh, good. Nothing much. Just hanging out.
Right on. Well, hey, brother, I know that you're not looking to buy a house, for, the next 10 months. And so, like I promised, I was going to give you a call, so you always remember, my name and number. So that way, if you have any questions about our real estate world and our market, that you can always feel comfortable and free to reach out. Do you have any questions about what's going on? No.
Nope.
Awesome. Well, hey, again, want to call just to make myself available. And Jake, one of the other things, that I understand is that when you're walking through this journey, and you're thinking about real estate, what you start to notice is other people around you who will start to have some lifestyle changes that cause them to have things happen in real estate, or cause them, you're going to notice that there are people in your world that are going through some lifestyle changes and life events that are going to cause them to start thinking about potentially moving yourself, right? I know you and your girlfriend are looking to get out of your rental to get into a home for yourself. And a lot of that's based upon, one, just having a sound foundation for you guys to grow in a relationship with. So there's other people in your life that are also looking to do the same things, but aren't getting the attention and answers that they might be seeking. So Jake, do you know of anybody in your life that might be having a new baby or maybe a new job?
Yeah. I know someone who just had a baby, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And I'm just shooting at the, shooting in the dark here. Did they have any questions about real estate because of that?
Yeah, they were thinking about moving into a new home since they're having another child. Need a little more space.
Right on. And you see, this stuff happens a lot. And so, Jake, when's the next time you might be talking to these folks?
I can talk to them this week.
Right on. Would you do me that favor? Would you talk to your friends and see what kind of real estate questions they might have? I don't need you to connect me with them or anything like that. Just let me know kind of what they might have, and you can relay those questions to me, and I'll be happy to get them answered. So that way, they don't feel like this, real estate guy is going to push them into buying a home just because they're having a new baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely do that.
Awesome, Jake. Well, hey, if I don't hear back from you on some questions, I'll give you a shout in a week or so to see how that conversation went.
Sounds good, Bruce.
Awesome. Well, hey, and as always, as we dive into your search, please reach out to me if you have any questions. All right.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care, Jake.
You too.
All right. So that's the way my follow-up calls work, you guys. And a lot of it's because of these timelines. If I ask people, hey, do you know of anybody going through a death? And there's nobody in their life going through a death, their wavelengths are down here. Do you know of anybody that's going through a divorce? No. Wavelengths down here. Do you know of anybody having a new baby? Oh, actually, so-and-so's having a new baby. Bam, heightened sense of awareness. Now they're receptive. Now they're eager to talk about it, right? Questions on the life of a lead. And here's the other, principle or point. I'm talking to Jake. He's a year out. If you're following up with leads and you're just saying, hey, Jake, it's Bruce. I just want to follow up with you. Do you have any questions today? Nope. Okay, well, like I promised, I'll keep following up with you. You're never going to get any leads out of Jake. He's kind of down here. As the months tick by, right? We'll go September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Now he's ready to move. His heightened sense of awareness will go up. But if you're not asking for the business down here, why would they ever think about you even after their heightened sense of awareness starts to go up? They don't know how this works, right? You need to connect those dots. Right now, Jake's going to drive around neighborhoods and he's not even going to see for sale signs. And then all of a sudden, come January, March, April, all of a sudden, there's for sale signs everywhere, in everybody's yard, in every subdivision, in every place that he goes. All right, make sense? Cool. All right. Get our minds right around the framework here. We got to talk about the numbers. We got to talk about these numbers. All right. I'm watching multiples of you focus on some things right now that I'm not upset with, but I know you're going to be upset with down the road. So that's where I'm coming from with this conversation. All right. A lead is what? A possible piece of business. Hi, Cassie. Just calling you out, So a lead is just simply a possible piece of business. All right, possible. So if I were to tell you guys that you guys had a 90% chance, of breaking your leg if you jumped off of this cliff face, how long would you focus or think about jumping off that cliff face? Because at the end of the day, I've also got $10,000 that I'll hand you. Right? How long do we have to think about that? And it's going to be different for everybody, right? Some people are going to go, all right, well, there's a 90% chance I'm going to break my leg, but let me look at it. I think I'm going to be within that 10%, right? And then they're going to take that chance and something's going to happen, but they're going to get $10,000. But the reality is that when you're faced with a 90% chance of failure, you tend to not focus too much on those things in life. But here in real estate, I can say this 100 times over. 1 out of 10 leads pan out, which means there's a 90% probability that the lead that you just received will not pan out. So if we naturally know we do that in life when it comes to pain, why are we so focused on that one individual lead if there's a 90% chance they're going to fall out, right? Now, I'm not talking about leads that you get a lead and then they go under contract on an exclusive right to buy or exclusive right to sell and you start working with them, right? That's the 1 out of 10 that panned out. I'm talking about me prospecting around my open house, or I get an open house and somebody walks in and says, hey, Jake, I am looking to buy a house. I don't know how this works. Do you think you'd be able to help us? A lot of us get so excited before we even know a situation and a story and what to do, right? And so from possible business, we have to convert that into probable business. Helena said it best. The way to convert that into, the way to convert that into probable business is through the mediums of communication, phone calls, text messages, and emails, right? And I'm going to just go ahead and add social media on there as well, all right? But if 1 out of 10 leads pan out and close, we have to work those leads, all right? But if we have a 90% chance that those leads aren't going to necessarily pan out, then we can't spend our ever-loving focus on them, right? The moment that you get a lead is the moment you should look at yourself in the mirror and say, I want a sustainable business. I will have a sustainable business, and I'm going to have a sustainable business because I have the lead already. I need to go find more. i.e., as soon as you get a lead, they can't take your ever-loving time. They just cannot. Jake, I commend you. You have some leads that are coming from your open houses, from door knocking and all of that. And guess what Jake's still doing? Crushing it at a high level, knocking on and talking to over what, 200 contacts last week or something like that?
That was a few weeks ago. Last week I had 52, but it was out of like 115 attempts. So it was pretty good ratio.
Well, I'm trying to give you some kudos. Anyways, he's got these leads and he's grown his pipeline and he's still relentless in the lead follow-up and lead generation, you guys. And that's because he's building a sustainable business. If he drops everything he's doing and starts to put ever-loving focus on a 90% chance of failure, and 1 or 2 of them maybe pans out into an actual buyer or seller, and the other ones are going to go to the wayside, when all of that stuff comes to fruition, guess what happens? Well, now I've got to go work with this buyer and I've got to show them houses and I'm not lead generating. Now I've got to get, I've got to go out and I've got to negotiate and write some offers. Now I got to go through the contract and the deal, and it's 30 to, before you know it, 1 lead can distract your lead generation for like a month and a half. Well, if you're not lead generating for a month and a half, then after that lead closes, you're going to have no leads to follow up with. And, you're going to have to get back into business. And for all of you out there that have been lead generating, you understand it takes time to learn how to lead generate. And then it takes time to cultivate leads. And then it takes time to lead follow up. And then it takes time to work the deal. The person that took a month and a half off of lead gen because they got this hot lead that came to fruition and they went under contract and everything's good and they're learning so much and they're so excited. They get the paycheck, they put it in the bank, they pay off all the back debt that they had because, let's face it, in real estate, we still have to live our lives and spend money even without a paycheck. So now we get caught back up on things. We look at our bank account again. We're like, have a little bit of breathing room. 1 week later, we're back in the lead generation, but our bank account's getting lower and lower. We don't have any leads we're following up with because we didn't lead generate while we had that 1 lead. And now we're back in the dumps. Our morale shot. And we're just riding on the E to P train. I'm going to go up and up and up, and I'm going to hit my ceiling, and then I'm going to go down. I'm going to get disappointed, and I'm going to start over again, and then I'm going to reinvigorate myself some way, shape, or form. I'm going to not do open houses, and I'm going to go to every networking event known to man, and because that's going to work for me. I'm going to get really excited, and I'm going to get another lead, and then I'm going to do the same cycle, and then that's called the roller coaster of real estate. You have to find time in your day and in your week to do way more lead generation than focus on your leads. It really ultimately comes down to the 80-20 principle. If you have allocated 10 to 15 hours, let's call it 10 hours a week on lead generation or just actively doing things, at least 8 hours of that should be spent on lead generation and only 2 spent on lead follow-up. So if you guys have leads and you're looking through your day, and let's say it's now Wednesday, and you've spent, let's call it 2 hours a day. If you look back at your day, did you really get in 4 to 5 hours of lead generation, only 1 hour lead follow-up? Or were you busy spending 3 hours trying to set up a buyer search and putting them in command and working on a touch program because you didn't have a lead follow-up touch program built in command? And so you got to build that smart plan. And now all of a sudden it's Wednesday and you haven't got an ounce of new lead generation in. You're gonna ride this roller coaster of real estate, and that roller coaster hurts. It's awful and it's painful. You'll go through so many highs of highs and so many lows of lows. By the end of the year, you won't know what's up and what's down. I promise you. Be consistent, because it's just.
I've been very much enjoying Power Hour lately, because that's when I now call all my open house leads from over the weekend and just bust them all out right then and there. Plus, I wanted to do it on a Tuesday anyway, so
nice.
Just wanted to put that in there. I've been liking it.
And I love that, Jake. I know that we're doing Power Hour, and then Jenny Hart is doing basically an all-day masterminds, or not all-day masterminds, but all-day just lead generation for her own self-accountability. I love what she's doing by getting you guys out there, right? If you guys have ever taken Bold or have ever heard of Bold, what they do in Bold is kind of exactly what you guys need to be doing naturally and organically. So in Bold, the first session, everybody just kind of sits in rows of chairs and listens for the day. The very next session, session 2, is when it all begins. You're going to walk into that room, and there's going to be round tables with chairs around them, and everybody's going to be divvied up into groups. And those groups are your teams. They're your accountability piece week after week after week. And those groups will formulate times and days that they need to lead generate together, either on Zoom or in person, to hold themselves accountable to the goals that they're going to have. So Jake's not wrong, you guys. If you guys are the people that have leads that are failing to get the lead generation in, you need to group together with people, and you need to group together with people that have the same problem, maybe not the same problem, but the same problems, and you need to do it together. If you're not lead generating because you have a lead and you've been working your tail off on writing this offer and negotiating and learning these contracts and putting into systems and working on your you're gonna ride the roller coaster. Find 2 hours a week and sit down with people and lead generate. On the flip side of things, I got people that will lead generate, grab all of these leads, and then fail to lead follow up. Like, the fortune's in the follow-up, which is why I think we all get stuck in follow-up, but there are some people that fail to follow up with leads. So until Jake gets to Power Hour, he knows he's not following up with leads. So you guys need to get into groups, all right? So if we understand lead follow-up framework, we understand that this stuff should not take long, right? My phone call to Jake took me 3 to 4 minutes, all right? If 3 to 4 minutes is kind of that benchmark, right? And I have 50 leads, how long does it really take me to follow up? About 1 day. That's about it, right? Even if it takes me 6 minutes a lead, divided by 60 minutes in an hour, that's a lot of that's a massive amount of calls. And let's face it, not everybody's going to answer, and you're going to leave voicemails. Okay. Until you get a pipeline of 50, you should be spending no more than 3 to 4 hours a week on lead follow-up. And if your timeline and your day is set up correctly, Your data entry for that lead you just got happens in the afternoon. The search you need to set up for them on the online MLS portal needs to be set up in the afternoon after you're done with what you need to do. Okay. If you aren't first or second in the mind, you probably won't get their business. All right, so this is where I do a little bolding on you, okay? I heard this in bold. I don't think they do it all the time, but it's definitely a big thing that goes around. All right, I don't want people to answer, and some of you guys have gone through this with me, but this is the exact reason why this quote is so powerful. If I were to give you guys 5 seconds, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. You have 5 seconds to rattle off 3 things, 3 of the items, or 3 things. What happens is most all of us have the same kind of market share or mind share of different things in our world because of the way that these companies have done it. So fast, quick, 5 seconds or less. Tell yourself 3 fast food restaurants. Go. Now tell yourself 3 brands of soda. Go. Now tell yourself 3 brands of potato chips. Go. All right, there's always one creative genius in the group that likes to think outside the box and has all these walking answers. And so 99% of people that go through that exercise will, one of the 3 things they will write down or tell themselves is Coke, McDonald's, or Lay's. Okay. And that's because they have lead follow-up down to a T. The other cool part about that exercise is the next study that came out from that was out of everybody that was interviewed or you know, had answers for it, 99% of people said that they one of those 3 things. The anomaly is that people use those 3 things less than 1 time a month, and most likely 6 times a year. So once every other month or 6 times a year. So now think to yourself, now some of you guys are McDonald's lovers and Coca-Cola lovers and Lay's lovers, but like I said, it's the majority. If you guys thought about all those things, when's the last time you had McDonald's? Have you had McDonald's once a month, 6 times already this year, 3 times already this year? Potato chips, right? A lot of us say Lay's, but we go get, Boulder, I forget what my favorite brand is, but it's Boulder something. If you guys have a dinner engagement, let's say you're having a barbecue and you get to the grocery store and you want potato chips for it. And for some reason, the Lay's section is just gone. Like it's just ransacked, or there's a note that says, hey, there's a manufacturing issue with the bags and all of our Lay's potato chips have been recalled. And your only other option is it Great Value? What's that off brand? Great Value, right? And you get the Great Value bag of chips. Chances are you go back to your house and you open up the cupboard and you grab a big bowl and you dump that bag of chips into the bowl and you hide that bag so everybody thinks it's Lay's. Why you look at me like that, Jake?
No way in hell am I doing that. I don't give a shit.
Well, you might not.
Yeah, well, we don't care, but yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really care either, but if I know I'm going to be hosting a dinner engagement or a barbecue and I know that people may care, I'm putting them in a bowl. Anyways, the reality is that those companies have created such a mind share over your mind. The reality is that we need to be the same in people's worlds. And so talking about lead follow-up, we need to understand that you cannot follow up with a lead like this. Hey, Jake, what's going on? It's Bruce. Hey, I know you're looking to, I like I promised I'd follow up with you. Do you have any questions about real estate? I know you're about 10 months away from, looking at buying a home, but, I just want to stay top of mind for you. Right? It's weak. It's very, very weak. It could be even weaker, right? Hey, Jake, it's Bruce. Like I promised, I want to follow up with you. You have any questions for me, man? All right, cool. Have a nice day. It's weak. We got to create that mind share. We got to create that relationship to where you are the top 3 things in their world. All right. And so we already talked about one of the scripts that I use, and that's the lifestyle script. And now the lifestyle script is going to be probably used maybe once or twice throughout that 10-month journey. So we need another script. We need something else that's super powerful. And now this script I try to use within the first interaction or the first follow-up. Okay. And now this is another one that gets me to have people it causes them to think about real estate. It causes them to understand who I am and how I work and why it's important for them to get to work for me. Okay. And the reason why I like to do this script, either within the first conversation or at least the first lead follow-up phone call, is because then the lifestyle script works better after you introduce that too. All right. But this one creates the mind share and the market share for your people. All right. Ring, ring, Jake.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. So, hey, I'm calling because I wanted to follow up with you, and one, I wanted to see if you had any questions about, about what's going to happen over these next 10 months. Since we last talked, and you said that you were going to be looking to buy after your lease is up.
No, not really.
Not really. Okay, great. Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, Jake. One of the things that I know is going to happen throughout the course of this time is real estate is going to start to pop up in your world. And the best way I can kind of describe how this is going to work, Jake, is kind of talking about your vehicle. What kind of car do you drive? Don't you drive that hatchback?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. How long have you had that?
I've had that just a couple years now. I think 2.
Right on.
1.5, 2.
Do you see, I mean, maybe not the hatchback itself, but do you see more Audis on the road today than you did before you started driving that thing?
Oh yeah, of course.
Right on. Well, hey, you're no different than most of the population. It's because people see that car that they drive more today than they did before they bought it. It's because they're at a heightened sense of awareness around it. You see, more people aren't driving Audis today than they did yesterday. They might be, but the fact of the matter is that your mind is open to seeing it and receiving it more. Jake, you've heard this old additive, right? We only use about 10% of our brains at one given time.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's because hundreds and thousands of things are around us at any given time. So our car is part of that 10% capacity. And so as you walk throughout life, Jake, you're going to start to have real estate actually start to become some of your 10% mind share. Real estate is going to start to be at a heightened sense of awareness. All of a sudden, you're going to see more signs in yards than you ever have before. You're going to see more billboard ads and signs of real estate agents on the sides of park benches and grocery store shopping carts. The other thing that's going to happen, Jake, is you're going to see more open house signs, and you're going to feel the need to kind of walk into one of those. I encourage you to do so, Jake, because the reality is on the flip side of things is in your life, you're going to actually run into people in your world that also are thinking about doing real estate or have real estate questions. So you see, Jake, as we go through this journey, I'm going to call you, and I'm going to always be available for you and your questions. 2, Jake, I'm unemployed until we start working together. So as you walk through your life and talk to your friends and your family, will you keep your ear out for other people that might have some real estate needs as well? because I'm unemployed until I find that next person. Would you do me that honor of helping me find that next person that I can work with?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. That's all I can ask, brother. Well, Jake, if you don't have any questions, that's all I got for you. And I'll call you in a month.
Sounds good, Bruce.
All right. Have a good day. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right. All right. That's my car script. So my car script comes first, and then my lifestyle script comes after. All right. I know we're talking about lead follow-up, but I want to help everybody in here. A lot of people are just talking to their database for the first time. There's a way you can use, obviously we got the lifestyle script, but there's a way you can use the car script too to be excited about real estate. And that conversation looks a little like this. Ring, ring.
Hey,
Jake, what's going on? It's Bruce. How are you?
good. How are you?
Dude, long time no talk. Long
Right?
time.
Been forever.
You've been busy this summer?
No, haven't made $1.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's a lot to unpack. What do you got going on?
Oh, basically volunteering at this point.
Okay, right on. Well, hey Jake, the reason why I'm giving you a call is because I'm very much cleaning up, my phone and allowing everybody in my world to know that I made a transition to a real estate career, and I'm pretty excited about it. And so wanted to let you know that. And two, I wanted to make sure that I had a couple of good pieces of information. Facebook says your birthday is April 12th. Is that correct?
That is not correct.
That's not correct?
No.
No. Okay, good. See, this is exactly why I make these phone calls. What's a good birthday for you?
February 19th.
Right on. Well, hey, Jake, I appreciate that. And, do you have any real estate questions for me? I don't expect that you do. I just called you out of the blue, but if you do, I'm here.
Nothing off the top of my mind, no.
Right on. Well, hey, Jake, you see, I'm so glad you said top of mind, because I'm very excited about making this transition to real estate. And it seems real estate is everywhere I walk now. Real estate is so much on the top of my mind that I hope you never feel overwhelmed or bombarded by me reaching out and being excited about my new endeavor. You see, it's at such a heightened sense of awareness for me that I can't walk down the street anymore without seeing some other agent's for sale sign. And it just makes me want this so bad. So Jake, as I go through and I'm all excited about this, will you do me the favor? Will you do me a favor and will you email me or text me any crazy one-off questions you might have about the market? Maybe not you, but like anything you can think of to help me practice my skills.
Oh yeah, sure. I can do that.
Right on. Well, hey, Jake, I appreciate your time. And if you think of any, questions about our market, I just want some practice right now. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Have good luck out there.
Thank you. Take care. So you guys can do some of that stuff. You guys can have some ideas and thoughts around that. Questions, comments, concerns. You got to create mind share for them. You also need to let them know that real estate is all over your minds. Anything we want to unpack? Any ahas? Anything we want to break down? All right, let's get into some nuts and bolts here. Oops, there's a chat. Let me see what that one says.
Just me being funny, apparently. That's all.
Nice.
Oh, it was the truth.
The fortune's in the follow-up. Fortune's in the follow-up. Actually, I'm going to go back. We're going to go into how to follow up with a lead. Okay, and this next section is how to follow up with a lead that is talking to you, is conversing with you. But the first thing I want to go over is I want to talk to you guys about lead follow-up, in which you're really trying to make the first lead follow-up conversation piece. All right. And here's what I mean by that. All right, Jake's in my database. I just had a great conversation with him and he said, dang, dude, you started in real estate? Actually, my boss at work just told me that he's looking to sell his house. I wonder I wonder how that would work. And I'm going to say, yeah, get me in touch with him, blah, 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 right? So I'm going to some way, shape, or form get Jake's boss's information, or I'm not. But the system and the process is the exact same. So we're talking about a follow-up plan for leads that you haven't yet got in touch with, or maybe they're an open house lead and they gave you their information and you told them that you'd follow up with them next week. Or maybe it's you have a listing and you get a voicemail that says, hey, I was just driving around the neighborhood and I was calling the number on the sign because we saw and we just kind of curious if this home that you have listed is for sale. Right? You name it, we're talking about how to get in touch with a new lead. All right. Bye, Melanie. So whenever I have a new lead that I need to make the initial connection with, I tell myself this is going to be an 8-week process with a 10-touch plan. 10-touch plan. So that's mine. You guys can deviate from it. I used to use an 8x8. So it's 8 touches over 8 weeks. I realized that I wanted some more touches, so I did a 10x8. You guys might decide you guys want to do an 8x8, a 12x8. You guys might want to do a 6x8. I don't encourage that. If you're going to go below 8 touches, I don't think your touch programs is as needed as it should be. So we're talking about leads that I have not gotten in touch with. So here's kind of how mine rolled. And this was in my CRM, my touch program. It wasn't through Command, it was through Top Producer when I had it back in the day. I do my follow-ups on Tuesdays, typically. So I'm going to do one touch is I'm going to make the phone call. Quit texting your damn open house leads. Quit emailing them. I'm very direct and stern with that. You're not in relationship with them yet. And so a relationship is not going to be built through text and email. And it could be down the road, but it's not going to be as effective as a phone call. So quit texting and emailing your leads without a phone call. So I'm going to call them one touch and I'm going to leave them a voicemail. And that voicemail sounds very similar to this. Hey, Jake, this is Bruce. And I wanted to follow up with you from our open house this past weekend. And I wanted to let you know that that house is still available. I wanted to let you know that the house went under contract. I don't care what it is. I want to let them know, right? I want to let you know that the house is still available. And I know that house just didn't have the layout for you. But I wanted to call and reach out to you about a few other properties that I have been keeping my eye on to see if it might be the better layout for you. So if you could give me a call back when you get a chance. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot you a text as well, because I know sometimes in our lives, text works better throughout the day. Thanks. Have a great day. Then I'm going to shoot Jake a text, and it's going to sound very similar. Hey, Jake, this is Bruce. As promised from my voicemail, I was just reaching out to you because there was a few properties that might have a little bit better layout for you. And I would like to, have a conversation with you about them. So if you're at work, give me a call afterwards. I'll be up, I don't just work during the day. I work in the evenings as well. All right, have a great day. And then he's not going to text back and he's not going to call back. And then I'm going to probably, the first week is pretty heavy. And then I'm probably going to wait 2 to 3 days after that initial reach out. So say Thursday or Friday. And then I'm going to call Jake back. And then the voicemail sounds very similar to this. Hey, Jake, it's Bruce. Hey, man, I really don't mean to like over bombard you with phone calls. I just want to make sure that, if your time is now, that you know that you have an agent on your side ready to jump for you. So if there's anything you want to go out and see this weekend, if there's any open houses that you're planning on seeing, give me a shout. And if I don't hear from you, have a great weekend, and I'll try again next week. And then I'm not texting after that one. Then on Monday or Tuesday, right? Tuesdays were my follow-up days. For you guys, I'm suggesting Monday or Tuesday. On Tuesday, I would look through my list of follow-up and I would notate that I had called him already and I text him and then I called him. So we got 3 touches in the first week. Then this week, I'm just simply going to text him on Tuesday. Hey, Jake, it's Bruce again. I want to precurse with, I don't mean to blow you up. but I'm starting to get the feeling that you might be 6 to 12 months away from making this home purchase happen. Is that more of an accurate time frame for you? Question mark. Then I'm going to let that week roll by. All right. So now we've got 4 touches in 2 weeks. Then in week 3, I'm going to do the same thing on Tuesday, but this time around, it might be a phone call with a quick voicemail. Hey, Jake, it's Bruce. Hey, give me a shout back when you get a chance. If they remember me, that's good. If they don't remember me, they might give me a call back because they're kind of curious as to who the hell I am. So either way, it kind of works, right? So that's 5 touches over 3 weeks. And so we have 8 weeks left, you guys, or not 8 weeks. We have 5 weeks left for 5 more touches. And so now it's a once a week touch for the next 5 weeks. I will tell you guys, I like to shake things up. Okay. I hate the mundane, and I know real estate is kind of boring and mundane once you get the hang of it. So some weeks I would look at it and I would go, you know what? I'm gonna skip this week for Jake. And next week I'm gonna hit him twice again. And then I'm gonna skip another week and then I'm gonna hit him twice again. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like the shakeup works, but here's the key. It's the touches over the time. So after your first like 2 weeks, you develop your system, you guys. All right. Some people set aside a whole day for lead follow-up, and I did, and that's on Tuesday. So those people usually got touches. Some people, you know, will follow up after lead generation every single day. It's all up to you guys. Questions, comments, concerns about that? All right. If you want to build that smart planning command, I need you to get with Ryan Thompson to go through that, and he'll help you build what you want to see. So get it on a piece of paper. Don't sit down with Ryan and don't have a game plan. All right. Get it on a piece of paper. Week 1, phone call, text message immediately after. 2 to 3 days later, phone call, leave voicemail. 1 week later, phone call. 1 week later, text message. 1 week later, a phone call and a text message 3 days later. 2 weeks later, a phone call. You guys need to write that down before you meet with Ryan. He's not inventing it for you. He's helping you implement it. All right. It's not his touch program, it's yours. But my suggestion is 8 over 8 at a bare minimum. Does anybody know, or has anybody heard me explain why it has to be more than 8 touches? And it also really needs to be more than 6 weeks? Okay. Because when somebody really is actually looking to do real estate, they have a life to live and they have things going on in their world. So let's say half of the touches that you do are just simply not good times for them. All right. That's why we leave people voicemails. That's why people miss our calls. That's why we send text messages, right? Happens in our world, it happens in theirs. The other reason why is because leads don't necessarily know us yet. They want to go with somebody that they feel comfortable with, but you're a stranger to them. And then here's the magic. Most real estate agents fail. I'll say this again, fail. Most real estate agents fail at touching a lead that they can't get a hold of more than 3 or 4 times. So if an open house lead is in your pile and you and 3 other agents have their name and information, statistically speaking, you all will be following up with them 3 to 4 times. At that point in time, you're all strangers still. The lead is probably getting your voicemails and text messages. But what happens is once those other agents die off, they quickly know who to start trusting because you're the only one that stuck through the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th time of touching base with them. And if they're really looking to do real estate, our brains also are wired to go with easy things. So you make it very easy for a lead to go, I can't remember those other agents, but Jake keeps following up with me, and I actually have a voicemail from him like 2 days ago that I haven't listened to yet. We should give him a call because we kind of want to go see houses this weekend.
Hey,
All right.
Bruce.
Yes.
So I have a lead that I've been talking to for the past like 4 months, like ever since I got my license. And he told me 2 weeks ago, so the last time we talked, that we could meet in August. And I've called him 3 times over like 2 weeks and then sent him an email, and he's been ghosting me. So any advice?
Yeah, I do. What do you think my advice is going to be?
Continue to follow up. Okay, I just feel like a stalker. So yeah, anyways.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, cool.
I think everyone feels like a stalker.
Thank you, Jake.
Honestly, we're recording, so I don't know. We have a lot of tools where I know what all of my clients are doing, or anyone. Like, I know when you open my emails. I know if you've looked at it and are lying to me. Like,
Yeah. So that was my next piece, Hallie. How are you tracking these things?
I haven't been tracking follow up.
Well, I mean, how are you tracking this lead? Are you sending him an email with Streak or a link that he could click on that you could track it back to Command?
No, I haven't been doing any of that.
Awesome. So download Streak for Google. It's an add-on, you guys. It don't pay for it. It's a CRM. You can bypass that step, but it's got email tracking system on it. It's free. And when you send an email to somebody, there's a little green eyeball that will pop up if they open up the email. So it's a great way to follow up with leads. The other thing that Hallie could do would be text him her KW app. As soon as he if it's branded to you and you're the registered agent on your app and you send it to your people and they download it and click into it, Command will notify you of that. The other thing that she said is, as I've reached out 3 times in 2 weeks. So statistically speaking, we have 5 more times over 6 more weeks. Now, the other thing that we need to talk about with these plans, and this might be what Hallie's going to be running into. We don't know yet. The only reason why 2 reasons why a viable lead does not connect with us over the 8-week span is because, one, they've already been working with another agent and they probably lied to you to get you off their back or whatever that case may be. They're already working with that agent, another agent. 2, their time is not now. They thought it was, something happened, they got bad news from the lender, and you're a stranger. So why do they owe it to you to tell you that they will have to be renting for the next year and then doing it? That's why that text message of, hey, I don't mean to bombard you. However, I've been doing this long enough to know that if you're more like 6 to 12 months out, you're going to get pissed off with this frequency. So are you, ? So leads don't like to tell us, especially buyer leads. Buyer leads get super excited about the buying process, you guys. They're so excited about looking at homes. They're so excited about that new adventure in their life. And because of that excitement, they get deflated really, really quickly when they realize they can't accomplish what they wanted to accomplish that time around. So another reason why they won't follow up with us. So what happens after 8 weeks? Good question.
New smart plan.
Yes. All right. Forces in the follow-up. You need to continue to create mind share. Continue to create mind share. So now after an 8-week process of, talking to somebody, then I'm going to put that lead on a touch program similar to this. All right. This isn't exactly what I did, but you guys, this is a baseline. You guys can tweak it. Okay. So I did do the 4 quarterly phone calls. All right. Every lead that was ghost, right, meaning they haven't responded, is going to get a call from me, at least trying to get a hold of them every quarter after that 10 touch time. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to email them. If I don't have an email, I'm going to text them once a month. So, but Bruce, what happens if I'm doing 4 quarterly calls and all of a sudden my call says to call them? Do I still text them? Yes. They're a lead not following up with you. As soon as they get a hold of you, or as soon as you get a hold of them, then they need to probably change the smart plan anyways, right? As soon as you get a hold of a lead, you have to ask yourself, is the smart plan they're on still in relevancy to what we talked about? So this smart plan that we're talking about over here on the left goes for leads that are leads that you've talked to and you're working with. And it also goes well with leads that have still not responded to you. Now, over time, there gets to be a point where if I'm doing quarterly touches and I get 2 to 3 years in, yes, I will start to not call that lead anymore because I've got too many other people to call. But if I'm not overwhelmed with my touch program and my smart plans and my CRM, then I'm still going to call them. So this lead might get 4 quarterly calls for 2 to 3 years, and then I'm going to probably drop them to a once-a-month email. 12 touches, we talked about email, text them if you can't. 2 touches to promotional direct mail, such as a magnet calendar, printed marketing report. You guys, I am not a big fan of this one unless I know that there's probably fruit on the line. So this is probably more for a lead who's actually talking to me. We have a game plan. We have a timeline of events. The reason why I say I don't do this is because you guys already know, if I have a timeline of events and Jake is, a year and a half away from thinking about buying a house, I'm taking him off of this smart plan and I'm going straight to my 42 touch system because that already has 4 quarterly calls in it. It has 2 monthly emails in it. It has 2 direct promotional things such as handwritten notes or magnets, right? And my 42 touch program also has events. So you guys got to really work your business the way you see it fit. Does that make sense? Does everybody see why a lead that is viable is probably going to be taken off of a 19 touch and I'm going to put it on a 42 touch? It all depends on that situation. I do not spend money on leads, you guys. Phone calls, emails, and text messages. If I have an address, you may, if I'm pretty ballsy with them, I may run by and do a pop-by gift, but that's a rarity. All right, 1-2 cement. 1-2 cement, a high value touch that solidifies the relationship you have just established and opens the door for future interaction. I like this one. It's you have just established. This is where I'll do a pop-by gift for a potential listing lead in which I have their address. And I probably won't knock on their door. I'll probably go drop it off and then follow up with, hey, I hope you enjoyed the gift. Let me know when you're ready to start talking. This 1-2 cement is going to be you guys to invent it. I don't do much of this. I think that over time, you get better at your touches, you get better at how you present things, you get better at your emails. You'll find a way to cement that relationship. The way that I interpreted this little segment when I first started going through this Ignite before we got on here, 1-2 cement means to me, you guys are 1 touch away from cementing that relationship. So if they're on this quarterly call and they're not answering their phone, and all of a sudden Jake does, I've got an opportunity to cement that relationship and figure out where we're headed next. On the right-hand side, I said, if it's a viable lead and they're talking to me and they're conversing and they've got a timeline of events and they really want to do this, I am more than likely going to put them on a 42 touch program. And that lead is going to continue with me and they're going to become a sphere of influence member until they die off or fizzle off. Questions? All right. So as we've been saying, we really want to talk about you guys creating your touch programs. Are you so after today's Ignite, you guys remember, Ignite isn't just learning. You have to go do these action items. So we've got a few action items right now. One, you need to develop and think through how you're going to do a lead follow-up plan for leads in which they're not responding. Brand new leads that aren't responding. Open house leads, sign calls, internet leads, something like that. Mine was, again, you can call it a 10 by 8 or an 8 by 10. It's 10 touches over 8 weeks. Okay. So here's some questions to think about. What are my strengths when I work with people, right? Those need to be those things that you bring up when you follow up with leads, right? Jake, I know you're looking for a home, and we're now 8 months away. You see, I pride myself on helping first-time home buyers like yourself. And when time comes, Jake, we're going to sit down. We're going to actually sit down about 3 to 4 months before you're looking to buy a home, because I have this robust buyer's presentation that I want and need to walk you through. You see, everybody that walks through this buyer's presentation with me feels confident and comfortable to go out and find their home. So as you guys develop your lead follow-up program, think about your talking points. What are your strengths? How can you develop your strengths? Are you working on some strengths? Right? How can I adapt the touches of 19 to contact, to connect, to represent me? Right? I told you guys, I took out any piece of touch follow-up for leads in which I spent money. That doesn't represent me in the way I do business. The people that get money in my life are the people that do business with me, are the people that I do know, love, and trust. It's not the people for me that say they're going to do business with me. What are some reasons I might have for contacting this lead, right? Hey, we just had an update, right? Our real estate app, you guys, is not pushed out enough between us agents and our buyer leads. That thing is powerful. It talks to your CRM and it's robust and it does things. That's a reason to reach out, to share it with them. It talks to our CRM. How cool is it that we get to know when our leads are using our app? What are some touches to do before and after a phone call? If you're not adding or trying to stalk your leads on Facebook, you're doing it wrong. People want to do business with people they know, love, and trust. It is okay to add somebody on Facebook and never see them add you back. But the reality is that curiosity kills the cat every time. I'm going to add somebody on Facebook who I don't know. If I get a Steve Smith, I'm adding every damn Steve Smith on my Facebook page because I don't know who my lead is. I might get some randos. I don't care. I'll delete them over time if I really need to. Or they'll start to be in my sphere and they'll start to appreciate my Mindset Mondays. You won't believe how many times I randomly add people that aren't anybody I actually know. And I get, hey, I don't know how we became friends, but I've been following your Mindset Monday for like the last couple of months now, and it's been awesome. Keep going. Way to go. Whatever that is. Add those damn people, right? The way you talk on social media is a touch. A lead wants to know that Jake is banging on doors 200 to 300 times a week. A lead wants to know that Jarrett is doing open houses at such a high level, it's unreal. A lead wants to know that you have a cat named Fluffy that you appreciate. Those are touches before and after phone calls. Social media is a big one. How am I using conversions to let the person know I'm in real estate? Or I'm sorry, conversations. How am I using conversations to let people know I'm in real estate? How do I connect with me? How do they refer me business? You guys, we hit that on the head. I got 2 scripts for you. If you can't learn them, then show me something better. I challenge every single person on here. Show me a better script that works and show me the numbers over the car scripts and the lifestyle scripts. I've been doing this for 8 years, and those scripts just came to my life about 2 to 3 years ago. Since then, I can coach full-time at a high level. I can train, I can mentor, and I can still keep up with my real estate business and sales because I use those scripts on my database and on my leads. So I don't really ever have to lead generate outside of the leads I'm already working with. When is it best for me and my business to time block for lead follow-up? Think about that, you guys. Some of you guys know my story and situation. I used to run where every single day was the same. 8 to 8:30 scripts and role play. 9 to 10 was lead generation. 10 to 11 was lead follow-up. And then go on break. And then do some more scripts if I have more lead generation to get through or more lead follow-up to do. Go on appointments and go home by 3 or 4 every day. Then over time, I got into the roller coaster of real estate. Over time, I had a big list of leads that I wanted to follow up with, and I always felt like I was never going to have enough time. And so I would start lead follow-up, and then all of a sudden I wasn't lead generating. And anyways, my system and me needed to shake. All right. This doesn't say when is the best time for Bruce to tell me how to time block for lead follow-up. It says when is the best time for me? So that's up to you guys. I found that my best time for lead follow-up was Tuesdays. And I have multiple psychological reasons around that. One, I feel like every agent follows up with open house leads on Mondays. Remember what we said. If an open house lead gave you their information, they gave another agent their information too. If you're touching base with them and there's 3 other agents touching base with them, it probably is going to be until 4, 5, or 6 before those other agents drop off the face of the earth and forget to follow up. So there's the psychology behind, 10 touches over 8 weeks. The psychology for me on Tuesdays was that if people like you guys, it's in movies, it's in society, it's everywhere we go. Got a case of the Monday blues, right? Turn on some gangster rap and tackle this Monday. There's all sorts of Monday things out there, right? So I call on Tuesday because it gives me a talking point, psychological. Hey, what's going on? This is Bruce, and I know every other agent called you yesterday to follow up with you from the open house. Well, I know that Mondays, if you're anything like me, Mondays are the shittiest day of the week. So I want to give you a call on Tuesday because now that our week's getting going, how's everything going? What's going on? Blah, 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 right? The other reason why I like Tuesday follow-ups, you guys, was because the most defeat that we ever experience in this real estate world, and some of you guys haven't felt this yet, but you're going to, the biggest defeat that we ever feel is when a really cool lead ghosts us, or we get a lead and we set an appointment and they don't show up, or we get a lead and we call them and we forgot to follow up with them and they bought another house and they're super excited and they're all excited and they want you to be excited for them. So for me, lead follow-up, the more I heard people losing deals and the more deals I lost because I failed to follow up, the more stress lead follow-up felt on my shoulders. And so if I knocked out all of my lead follow-up on Tuesday, it released me for the week. So now I could go lead generate Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You guys, that's my system. It's going to work for some of you. Some of you, it's not. You've got to find you. All right. The basis behind lead follow-up is making sure that at the end of a week, you look at the 80-20 principle. Did I spend 80% of my time lead generating? And did I spend 20% of my time doing lead follow-up? Those ratios will start to waver the more leads you get and stuff like that. But on average, right? Oh, I keep doing that. How much time should it take for me to reach out to a lead? What will I do to hold myself accountable? What do I need to do to make sure this happens? Again, all questions for you. All questions for you. I think we already tackled a big question. How much time should it take to reach out to a lead? All right, let's go through some of these things. Open house lead. I know some people that will follow up with that open house lead the hour after the open house. I know some people that would always do it the day after. So if it's a Friday night open house, they'll do it on Saturday. If it's Saturday, they'll do it on Sunday. If it's Sunday, they'll do it on Monday, all the way around, right? For an internet lead, time is of the essence. Okay, we call it speed to lead, speed to lead. So if you're paying for Facebook marketing or any sort of online marketing and you get an online lead, speed to lead, the faster, the better. They actually say, I think it's like, there's like an 80% response rate if you can call the lead within the first 2 minutes of them submitting their information to you, because they're still on the computer looking at homes. Okay. After that, after 2 to 5 minutes, it diminishes to, I think like a less than 10% chance or something like that. And then it goes up. It actually, your percentage chances goes up over about a 4 to 5 week period of talking to that lead or touching base with them. Speed to lead for internet leads. So if you're paying for internet leads and your life is, I watch a lot of agents pay for internet leads because their life is busy. If your life is that busy, you're not going to be able to speed lead, and then you're going to feel like internet leads are a waste of time and money. And they are if you can't speed lead. What will I do to hold myself accountable? I feel like a broken record, but I've been in the Fort Collins office now since 8 a.m. and there's not one group of people in here. Now, I'm not talking to you guys because you guys are on Ignite and you guys are all brand new. But when you guys get done with Ignite and your Wednesdays free up, you need to get together with a group of people. I don't care if it's at Starbucks at the office, I don't care. But I only know of 3 accountability groups right now and 300 in our 300 agent group. In bold, when you take bold, the bold leader, so most bolds, there's at least 8 to 15 round tables. That's your accountability group. Not one table has the bold coach as their leader. You guys will not like me to hold you accountable. I have no patience when it comes to accountability. All right, my accountability group, I was the leader in my bold. I was the leader in our office when I was lead generating, and people dropped out of my lead generation accountability group. I have no time. I have absolutely no time to hear about what happened to Fluffy last night and how you couldn't find your shoes before you left the house. I have no time. It's an accountability group. All right. So find your group, find your people, but also hold people accountable. If you guys start an accountability group, here's what I'm open to doing. If you guys start an accountability group and you have a member of your accountability group that pulls the group down, they're always late. They always take 10 minutes to talk about their life. They can't get there early to talk about their life and get started on time. They're constantly are asking you or telling you and giving you feedback about your phone calls, and they're not making theirs. You have an open invitation to not be the bad guy and reach out to me, and I'll reach out to that individual and I'll have an accountability conversation with them, and they won't know where it came from. They might if you make it vocal in your group, but I'm open to that. All right. When I was in bold, we had this person, the person I'm talking about. I had that person. And that person was really dragging the entire group down. And there was only a couple of us that really were affected by it. Other people were all affected by it, but no one wanted to have that uncomfortable conversation with them. And so I talked to my bold coach about it, and he said he was willing to do it. I ended up having that conversation because I couldn't take it any further. That agent went from no appointments every week and not hitting her 100 contacts a week to, on average, after that, like I only let that slide for like 2 weeks in a row, and bold's about an 8-week session. After that, she was consistently hitting upwards of 70 contacts on average a week. She started to set an appointment a week on average. And she got like 3 pieces of business out of bold because she finally was playing all in.
I heard the average is 14.
The average is 14. Now, I got a different stance on that. I really don't want you guys to, I don't want you guys to be defeated. All right, the average is 14, and here's why. Mega agents know that they get lazy in real estate, like very lazy in real estate. And so what a mega agent will do is they will take bold, and mega agents, or rainmakers is what you call them too. They will take bold and they will take their hi Chad, good to see you, bro. They will take and they'll work their team through bold. And so their team will have to commit to 100 contacts a week along with them. And when that team starts to roll business together, and that rainmaker has things set up to where when a deal closes, it closes underneath their name because they're the rainmaker, it really can make bold look inflated. So I'm just going to precursor with that. Now, on the flip side of things, I have taken bold 7 times. All right. I've skipped 1 year, and that was due to COVID. I've taken bold 7 times out of 8 years. My first time I took it, I did not play all in. I didn't get my accountability group going. I wasn't the leader of it. I just didn't attend the accountability group. I fudged my numbers, and I always said I hit like 90 to 110 contacts, even if I hit 20. I didn't practice my scripts like they give you every single week. They give you scripts, and I didn't practice them. And so I didn't play all in. And the only people that go through bold that do not get business are those people. So I'm not telling you guys have to go through bold, but when it says, what will I do to hold myself accountable? I can assure you that 98% of us don't hold themselves accountable. So to hold yourself accountable, you need group. You need power of numbers. You need to make sure you're very selective on who that group is too. I would say more than 10 is too many. And I would say fewer than 4 is too little. The only reason why I say that is because when you have more than 4, like 4 or more, you have some collective minds. Some other ideas can happen, but I definitely see pairs do it well. Pairs do it well. The other thing about 4 to 5 or more people is that in a pair, if somebody has something come up in their life, oops, I'm flipping together. If somebody has something come up in their life, and you are using an accountability group to hold yourself accountable, are you going to go to your accountability group because no one else is going to be there? And even if you do go to the office to hold yourself accountable, are you going to hold yourself accountable? So that's why I don't like pairs. I like pairs when it works. Like you have to be disciplined. It has to be in your calendar. It has to be there every single week. But stuff happens, right? So 4 to 5, it allows there to always be a group, even if 1 or 2 people might not be able to make it that week. See where that goes? I'm hitting this like a dead horse because when I first started, see, I think so. You guys heard the other additive. I'm on like this big tall soapbox right now. You guys ever also hear lost my train of thought here. All right, let's go this route. Open houses. Open houses. You have an open house sign-in sheet. All right. What's the number one way to get people to sign into the open house sign-in sheet if you're not going to ask them to sign in? It's to put a name and phone number and email address at the top line as if somebody already signed in and gave them all their information, right? Because people do what?
Look at the people above them, see what they filled out.
We're all sheep. We follow, right? So you guys are all sheep too. And I don't care if this hits hard or harsh in your mind. I don't care. You're all sheep too. Because here's what I know. If every single one of you joined our group and the first couple of days you guys started coming into the office and right now there'd be people bugging me because there'd be so much noise going on because you'd have a pod over here and then you'd have a pod over here and people are just on they're not even talking to each other. They're just on their computers typing. They got ear pods in. Some are walking around talking. If that was what you guys got your license and walked into, don't you think you would do everything known to man to join one of those groups or start your own? Yeah, because you're going to see that it grows success. The problem, or not the problem, the struggle, I don't know what you want to call it. I know that we're creatures and we're sheep. So I got to be harsh with you guys because we got to set the stage and we got to change what's happened, right? You see, when I first started in real estate, that's what was going on. I walked into our office, there would be different groups of people every day coming into the office to meet at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 9 o'clock in the morning. You name it, there were groups coming in to lead generate. And then COVID hit. And then what happens? Everybody follows the group. No one can come into the office. And so you guys aren't seeing the power of that yet. I need you guys to be the leaders. I need you guys to be the pack, right? Jenny Hart has volunteered her gracious time to set aside Thursdays to do this with you guys. I can assure you though, that she's going to draw too many people and it's going to turn into masterminds and it's going to turn into people talking about sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns and butterflies. Because you're always going to have that social group that goes off that wants to hold themselves accountable, but is super cool with finding another person to not hold themselves accountable. So it's going to be good. But like I said, I think it's going to be a lot of people. But from that is going to be groups that start to branch off and form. I need to beat this like a dead horse because you guys are not lead generating and lead following up effectively like you should be. And that's okay because it's hard to do by ourselves. I can't do it alone either. When I make my phone calls and when I practice the number one reason why I became a coach and trainer is because I wasn't practicing my scripts. And so I told my coach I wanted to run scripts practice. And she said, if you want to run scripts practice, you better learn your scripts. And so we're going to have a one-on-one and you're going to teach me a script. And that was tough. I learned a script real quick, trying to teach my teacher a script. And then I started running some script practices only around that one script though. She wouldn't let me do any other one. And then I would learn another, and then I would do another thing, and then another thing, and another thing. Because that's the only way I could hold myself accountable to learning scripts. I never, ever, ever did it by myself, Monday through Thursday for a half an hour at a time, until I had a group of people who were banking on me to be there to do it. You guys are no different. All right. Put it in the chat me privately, put a 0 in the chat. If you have now, it's only Monday and Tuesday. If you have actually throughout Monday and Tuesday of this week, practice scripts by yourself. I'm not talking about a group, by yourself for a half an hour. It has to be happening, you guys. And that's where those accountability groups come into play. You guys should, Liz, thank you. Thank you. I thought there was one other person that told me they were doing it, but maybe not. Oh, Jared got off. Yeah, Jared's been doing it too. It has to happen. Okay. The other thing about accountability groups is You get to hear other people's situations and the things that they go through so that you can save yourself from that heartache down the road too. So it's not just like a slammed accountability hour. Once you guys are done, right? If I'm going to lead generate or hold you, or you guys are in my group from 9 to 11, at 11 o'clock, yeah, let's talk about how Fluffy had to go to the vet. Let's talk about how that one person on the phone said this and this, and you didn't know how to explain it or tackle it. Or, oh my gosh, can you believe what this guy told me today when I was circle prospecting? That's the other piece of the accountability group, is you guys get to experience more situations than you will on your own. You'll be able to help each other. And then you'll be able to come to me and all the other coaches and really dive into exactly what that looks like to go past or beyond what that hurdle looked like. All right. All right. Any questions on this? This is that 19 touch program. This just starts to show you guys what you guys can be doing. We're not going to beat this like a dead horse. Okay. Value proposition, personal communication, statistics and data. You guys got to have a combination of this stuff in your touches, right? So I'm talking to Jake, and I told Jake about the car. I went through a lifestyle script with Jake, right? Over time, Jake, hey, as time gets closer, I forgot to ask, do you have any pets? Like, do you need a space like in a fenced-in backyard for your like a dog, or like do you have cats? Like, what do you got? Right? Personal, get personal with them. Hey, I forgot to ask. I know you said you had 3 kids, but what are their names? How old are they? Hey Jake, I know you're trying to save up some money, but I hope you're spending some on some summer fun. What's going on? Hey Jake, I don't know if you're talking to me, but you're on mute. Hey Jake, it's Bruce, and I wanted to follow up with you, man, and I wanted to share with you what happened last year. You see, it's January. I know you're not going to be looking to buy a home until May, but last year's stats and data came out, as well as some future predictions. So today I'm simply calling you to talk about real estate. You got a couple seconds?
Oh yeah, of course.
You don't have to role play. I'm just giving everybody this is why we don't follow up. This is why we feel like we're stalky, because we don't trust and believe in what our message is. We're not convicted enough. I am never going to feel stalky to Jake when I have a reason to call him. Jake, hey brother, it's a brand new year, and I have a real estate coach, man. And my real estate coach and we've been developing a brand new buyer's consultation. Now, I know we're not going to sit down for a while, but since you've never walked through this with me, I would love to send this over to you so that way you can kind of see, one, what we're going to be talking about, and two, if you see any errors or maybe misspellings or like some sort of graphic that you don't understand, like, will you give me some feedback on it, man? Jake, I pride myself on working with people who relocate across the country for jobs, job relocation. You see, it's a big thing in our world to come across the United States. Me being an Ohio boy myself, small town farm boy, I didn't know jack about the world. When I made a move out to Colorado, I didn't even make a move for work like you are. I made a move at my leisure, at my time frame, and gosh, that was still tough and difficult. So with you making this move for work, man, I want to take every stress off your plate because I'm a relocation specialist. Right? Value proposition, personal communication, stats and data. Got to have a combination of that. Hey, Jake, what's going on? It's Bruce. Hey, I'm just calling to follow up with you today. I know you're not looking to buy a house for another 10 months, but I just want to check in and see if you have any questions. No, you don't have any questions? All right, cool. Have a nice day. That's why that is such crap. You're not going to get anywhere. Your leads, there's no impact. Your leads are going to go meet a better agent at an open house. Your leads are going to get knocked on the door by Jake, and he's going to woo them with his heart-shaped eyes.
Damn right.
All right? Don't be a mediocre agent. right? Design your system of follow-up. Questions, right? All right, this is where we talk a little bit about questions and the power of questions and why. I know we do this in scripts a lot, but for the sake of this video, let's hammer it. If you're not asking questions, you're not controlling the conversation. But you also don't want to control the conversation by dominating it with statements and your stuff, because people love to talk about themselves. So 1, questions allow you to control the conversation. 2, questions cause them and cause an interaction, right? When I say, hey, who wants to role play with me? There's a lot of you that got all clammy, like, I hope he doesn't call on me, right? Questions cause the mind to turn. Questions cause it to control, and questions allows them to respond and talk so they feel like they have a voice. So we talked about, Jake, do you know of anybody going through a lifestyle change? It's a question. It's a controlling of the conversation. He's going to get excited because his nephew is looking at having a baby, right? All right, this talks about potential lead sources. We've already ran through that. I'm not going into how to get leads because that was in a different course and different series. But whatever way you got leads, you need to make sure you're doing outbound calls, and you need to make sure you're asking questions. Now, this is where I talk about 3 questions deep. 3 questions deep. All right, we went to the listing clinic a couple weeks ago. For those of you that didn't go, you didn't hear this, but 3 questions deep means don't be surface level. So the example that was used in that clinic was learn to scuba dive, not snorkel. So questions control the conversation, and they're very good, but there are topics where you want to scuba dive versus snorkel. So here's the example of snorkeling. You ask them about lending. Hey, have you talked to a lender yet? Nope, not yet. Okay, I'll get you a list of information, or I'll get you a list of some lenders that you can talk to. When do you want to be in the house by? Okay, next May. Okay, cool. I'm gonna mark that down so that way I can back off of my phone calls with you. I don't want to over bombard you if you're not looking until May. We'll get started sometime in probably January, February, and I'll walk you through that later. Are you going to be the only person buying the home? Okay, it's going to be you and your spouse. Okay, cool. Now tell me a little bit more about what house you're looking for. That's snorkeling, you guys. Don't snorkel in one conversation. Scuba dive in the conversation. Here's what that looks like. Hey, you said that you're going to be looking to buy a house in May. What day in May does your lease end? Is it the 1st or the 31st? Oh, okay, it's the 31st. Okay, cool. So basically we can close sometime in May, so that way you have some time to move out of the property. Let me ask you, how hypothetically speaking, how much time would you like to be able to move to the next house? Because I think you're renting in South Denver, and you're looking to buy a house in Loveland. So that you're gonna have plenty of travel back and forth. You need like 2 to 3 weeks to make that move, or you just need like a week? Oh, okay, cool. Well, hey, as this process goes, you're going to be looking at homes online, and you might find like the perfect home. If you find that perfect home, do you know like how to get out of your lease if you need to? Do you have to pay a fee? Do you want to send me your lease over, and I can take a look at it for you to see if we can find anything? Because my gosh, man, if you can get out of your lease for like $1,000 charge, and we find the perfect property before your lease is up, and we don't have to compete in a multiple offer situation, and the house is exactly where you want it to be, what if the seller would pay for that $1,000 to get you into that home so you didn't have to pay it? Would you be willing to do something like that? Right? All I did was talk about time frame, and I went deep. May 31st, right? There's 2 questions off of May. What happens if the perfect property pulls up? How much time do you want to take to move? Right? I'm talking only in that conversation about their situation and time frame. I'm snorkeling. I'm not. I'm scuba diving. I'm not snorkeling. I'm not. Snorkel means you're going to try and get all these topics in without going deep, like your surface level. Right? Relationships are built what? Off of surface level conversations? No, they're built off of getting personal with someone. Cool. Hi, Carla. Thought you were on here. I thought you were on here. All right. Post lead follow-up. We kind of hit this a little bit too. Move the person from a 19 touch program to a 36. So we already talked about this, but let's look at this graph for a little bit or for a sec. Again, 1 out of 10 leads close. All right. So think about like a funnel. Like you're going to put all these things in, and only some stuff is going to come out at the bottom. Not all leads come out at the bottom. So you're going to prospect and you're going to lead capture, right? That lead goes into your database, right? That's the big bucket that includes every contact that you have. Leads, you want to form those relationships with your leads. That's why you got to talk about real estate stats and statistics, as well as what their kids like to do, what their kids' ages are, what their dog is, right? You got to form that relationship. You got to build that bond. Why does that bond so important? Because it creates the mind share.
They're gonna pick whoever they trust.
What's that?
They're gonna pick whoever they trust.
Yeah. Well, you're also going to be the Lay's, McDonald's, or Coca-Cola in their life. Cultivate contacts for conversion. Lifestyle script. Convert leads into other leads. Convert leads into lead sources. I think there's a big misunderstanding when somebody says, hey, Bruce, I'm having trouble converting at open houses. I'm having trouble converting a conversation into an appointment. There is no magic to this, you guys. It's you got to follow the system. Anytime somebody says they're having trouble converting an open house lead to an appointment, or converting any sort of lead to sit down and have an appointment, or a conversation, you're door knocking. I feel like some people like have leads, but I don't know how to convert it into. It's because you went surface level on them. Go deep with them. The number one way to convert leads is to scuba dive and not snorkel. So when somebody asks Bruce, hey, how do I convert a lead? I say, get into relationship with them. And here's the number one thing that starts to happen. I'll start to ask them, okay, tell me more about this lead. Well, their lease ends in May, and they want to buy a house. That's all you know about them? That's all you know about them. What day in May does their lease end? Can they leave their lease early? You see, those deep questions cause them to look at you as the professional. Those deep questions cause you to convert leads. No other agent's going 4 questions, 5 questions deep just around their lease. And if you're the only agent that has asked what day in May. You're the only agent that has reviewed the lease to see what kind of out they can get out on. And there's 4 other agents conversing with them and trying to get them into a lead or a buyer's consultation. You're going to get the buyer's consultation every time. That's the only reason why we're not converting leads, is because we're not getting personable with them. We're not building a relationship, and we're snorkeling instead of scuba diving. Make a lot of sense? We do this in lead generation too much. My gosh, we're always trying to sleep with people on the first date. Hey, it was great talking with you. How long have you lived in your home? Oh, 4 years. That's cool. What do you like most about the neighborhood? Oh, that's cool. Hey, I've got this fancy app. Would you like to download this app? Oh, that's cool. Hey, besides the app, I actually have this pretty cool like touch thing that I do with some emails and stuff, and I send value sometimes. Like, would you like to be put on that touch program? Okay, cool. Have a nice day. You talked about way too many things. You tried to like build a 2-year relationship in one conversation. Versus when I'm talking to somebody at the doorstep and I say, hey, how long have you, that's cool. You don't have anybody that wants to come to the open house. You don't know of anybody that wants to buy a house. That's cool. How long have you lived at this place? 4 years. Oh, 4 years. Okay, dang. Have you guys done any like major upgrades or anything to it? Or did you guys pretty much buy it like move-in ready? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Well, hey, if you guys ever need a vendor or anybody, like 4 years in, like of course I'm not looking for you guys to sell your home, but things happen in your home and things will come and you'll need some sort of service, right? An HVAC person, maybe a carpet repair person, you know, gosh, a hardwood flooring guy, maybe a tile guy, a painter, a roofer. You know, there's so many vendors out there, and honestly, there's so many different vendors out there. I've got a list of vendors that I know, love, and trust that do great work for me at a decent price. Do you think I can get your email and I could send you, I could send you that list? Okay, great. Hey, awesome that you live in the neighborhood for 4 years. It was a pleasure meeting you, Bob. I'll get that list over to you. And will you do me a favor? If you call or use anybody on that list that doesn't treat you as the professional that I feel like they are, will you let me know? Because that's the only people that make it on my list are the people that will help people. Awesome. Bob, I appreciate your time. Oh, and hey, and before I get out of here, Bob, do you have any questions for me? Gosh, I'm so sorry. Awesome. Well, hey, I'm going to do my job for these sellers, and I'm going to get over to your neighbor's house, and I'm going to let them know about the open house too. But Bob, it was very nice chatting with you, man. I hope you have a great day. That's relational building, you guys. That's intentionality. That's scuba diving and not snorkeling. Do you see how that's more powerful than trying to get them on your database, share with them your app, recommend a list of vendors, talk to them about the neighborhood, talk to them about how long they lived there? Too much. Too much. I really, I say sleep with somebody on the first date, and I know it's a joke, but think about first dates, right? If somebody's super surface level on their first date and isn't willing to like just share, they don't have to go super deep with their entire life story, but like if they're surface level people and they have no interest, hobbies, and they're just blah, do you want to go back on a date with them? Jake goes, yeah. But in all seriousness, like quit thinking about lead generation as super salesy. Think about how relationships work in our lives and in our world. That's why we got to move them. Once we get into relationship and once we understand we can convert them, they need to be moved, right? The last thing you ever want to do is put somebody on an 8x8 touch program and you get a hold of them, set up this thing, and then next week you see that you need to call them again, but you don't really need to call them again. You're just a robot because you're just working off of what the command says. No, relationships is what converts leads.
That's what real estate is.
Yeah, relationships are built off of scuba diving, not snorkeling. All right, daily 10-4. Let's wrap this up. Let's get on with our day. Daily 10-4. You guys need to be contacting 10 people a day. That's 50 people a week. That's all I'm asking. If you're going to take bold, put your britches on. It's 100 people a week. 10 contacts added to your database, right? If that's every day, that's because you're just starting your real estate career. So now you have the ability to add 10 people a day to your database. If you've already added every single person from your email list, your phone, from Facebook, and all of that's in your database, then work towards 10 database ads a week. 10 handwritten notes a week. That's 2 a day for 5 days. And work on your social media engagement. We had a really awesome Ignite session around social media and how to do that. Do it. All right, guys, that's all I've got. That's Ignite session 10. We're halfway through. Questions before we jump off? All right. Get into the office in Fort Collins right now.
Yep. See you in an hour, disc.